Welcome to Full Court Tennis Advantage. I'm Brian Teacher, Australian Open champion and former world number 7. Today we're breaking down the complete blueprint behind Carlos Alcaraz's meteoric rise. From physical and mental training to recovery, diet, and match analysis, we're unpacking every detail so players, coaches, and parents can understand exactly how champions are built. Carlos Alcaraz was introduced to tennis, golf, and soccer by his father, who was a coach and club director. Like Fritz, Sinner, Tsitsipas, and Rudd, Carlos developed athletic coordination through multiple sports, which built his foundation. But the real key? His matches were constantly watched and dissected by his father and coaches to understand why he lost and how to improve. This same pattern exists with the other top players I just mentioned. As a former top player myself and coach, I can tell you, consistent match analysis is critical. Improvement doesn't just come from working on strokes, it comes from understanding your breakdowns under pressure and against different styles of play. Today, with tools like Full Court Tennis app, it's crazy not to take advantage. You can compare your strokes side by side with top pros in the FC2 Pro library. And when I played, video was hardly available. Now it's in your pocket. Top players, whether coached by a parent or a pro, review every match. There's no lag time. It's just like a lesson. Match play reveals what needs fixing. And if your coach isn't watching your matches, I hate to say it, you're missing a massive opportunity for growth. The process is like a step ladder. Focus only on the next run. Don't look ahead in a draw or overthink outcomes. I know when I did that as a kid, I lost focus and the match. If I hadn't embraced the process, the hard work, the small lessons, I wouldn't have an Australian Open title. At 15, Carlos joined Juan Carlos Ferrero's academy. A former world number 1, Ferrero and his team were focused on correcting weaknesses, refining technique, and adjusting strategy every single day. That's the model. Play, record, review, improve. That's exactly why Full Court Tennis exists. Upload your match, tag key moments, and get analysis from your coach or one of ours. Don't guess. Get clarity and grow faster. Okay, now let's look at some of Carlos's reported training schedules, for instance. At various times, he would wake up at 6 a.m., do light activation, mobility drills, then on-court movement and baseline work, and then focus on brain clarity, right? He'd play a little chess, board games for cognitive stimulation. Then he'd have some breakfast, and then about an hour later, he'd start his serve practice, focusing on precision, then play a few sets, then match video review, and then followed by some core work, medicine ball throws, planks, rotational shifts. Then he'd take a break for lunch. He'd get back on the court again with live on-court drills, return of serve, net, transition play. Then he'd go into strength and conditioning, Olympic lifts, flywheel, resistance trainings, plyometrics, lateral quickness, and then he'd get into recovery, massage, stretching, and hydration. And again, Carlos trains his mind with the same intensity he does his body. Works with a psychologist to stay composed under pressure, practices mindfulness and breath control. And I can tell you that is a huge thing. And Carlos is always smiling, right? Because he's enjoying the process and he's clearing his mind and staying even kill. He journals his goals and reflections, plays chess, like I said, to develop focus and strategy, and of course, recovery and nutrition. He eats a gluten-free diet for energy efficiency. A lot of times he has pre-match pasta with olive oil-based cocoa date spread. He likes fish and sushi or salt-baked sea bass over red meat before matches. And of course, energy bars with dates, egg whites, guarana during matches for energy, and then post-match lean protein, hydration, electrolytes. Recovery, he does daily naps. You got to get plenty of rest, and evening physiotherapy and massage, ice baths, and he makes sure he gets at least 8 to 10 hours of sleep and light mobility sessions during heavy training periods. Okay, so his off-season programming, he ramps it up with multiple daily sessions of 2 to 4 sets per day, depending on the intensity. Serve plus point construction drills and match play with diverse sparring partners. Strength blocks, sprint intervals, aerobic focus, active recovery to handle volume without injury. And then, just like all top players, they review every match, whether they win or lose, because that's where the real improvement happens. Carlos Alcaraz and his coach, Juan Carlos Ferrero, analyze footwork patterns, shot selection under pressure, serve and return to serve strategies. They don't guess. They use video to pinpoint the patterns and make adjustments fast. Most juniors and even adults don't know why they lost. But video doesn't lie, and that's why full court tennis exists, to make this process accessible to everyone. Record your match, upload it to your private lesson space, tag key points for your coach to review, compare your strokes side by side with top pros in the FCT Pro library. If your coach isn't helping you solve your match play issues with FCT, you can hire one of our world-class coaches to break it down and provide clarity. Whether you're competing nationally or just trying to level up, this is how improvement accelerates. Technology has leveled the playing field. It's no longer about access, it's about action. Full court tennis gives you the tools. Now it's up to you to use them. Carlos Alcaraz isn't just a gifted athlete. He's a product of expert coaching, focused training, and consistent video feedback. And most importantly, he enjoys the process. That's why you always see him smiling. From my own experience at the top, I can tell you, if you don't love the process, you won't get the prize. Thanks for listening to Full Court Tennis Advantage. I'm Brian Teacher. Train smart, review often, and grow faster.